February 5th, 2026. Russian mill bloggers erupted in panic. This is all very bad, especially given how crucial communications are at the front, wrote Roman Alekin on Telegram. Another. This will hit harder than anywhere at our frontline assault groups, for example, in Kupiansk. A third. This is our Achilles heel. The cause? Elon Musk flipped a switch.
So it's taken a while, but Elon Musk has finally done it. He switched off Russia's access to Starlink.
Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov announced February 2nd that Ukraine created a whitelist, verified Starlink terminals authorized to operate. Everything else got disconnected. By Thursday, February 6th, Russian forces across the entire front line reported mass Starlink outages. Ukrainian commanders intercepted Russian communications, hundreds of terminals failing simultaneously. No backups, no alternatives. Total communications collapse. According to Serhiy Flash Beskresnov, advisor to Ukraine's defense minister, the enemy at the front doesn't have a problem. The enemy has a catastrophe. Russian propaganda channel Two Majors admitted, all along the front, Starlinks have lain down. But here's what shocked Moscow. Musk had been supplying Ukraine since February 2022. Over 50,000 terminals delivered. Russian forces captured many, bought others through third countries, mounted them on Shahed drones for beyond line-of-sight control, immune to electronic warfare. Ukraine begged SpaceX to stop Russian access. Musk implemented whitelisting in days. Now Russian assault groups at Kupiansk, communication networks everywhere, drone operators controlling strikes from inside Russia, all offline simultaneously. If you want to see how one billionaire's decision created a Russian communications catastrophe that Putin's military cannot solve, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This is asymmetric leverage through technology control. Here's the timeline that caught Russia off guard. January 27, 2026. Russian drone equipped with Starlink terminal strikes passenger train in Kharkiv region. According to Beskresnov, Starlink-controlled drones bypass Ukraine's electronic warfare that normally jams GPS and radio signals. The attack proves Russia is actively using captured or smuggled Starlink terminals for deep strikes into Ukrainian territory. January 30th. Ukraine's defense ministry reaches out to SpaceX urgently. According to Fedorov, Russian drones equipped with terminals are difficult to shoot down. They fly at low altitudes, are resistant to electronic warfare, and are controlled by operators in real time, even at long distances. Ukraine provides evidence of hundreds of attacks by Starlink-equipped Russian drones. February 1st, Musk responds publicly on X. Looks like the steps we took to stop the unauthorized use of Starlink by Russia have worked. Let us know if more needs to be done. SpaceX implements initial restrictions. February 2nd, Ukraine approves government resolution mandating Starlink terminal registration. Fedorov announces whitelist creation. Soon, only verified and registered terminals will operate in Ukraine. Everything else will be disconnected. February 5th to 6th. Mass Russian outages reported across entire front. At least 9 Russian mill bloggers confirmed simultaneous terminal failures. 3 Ukrainian commanders, speaking to Kyiv Independent anonymously, intercept Russian messages complaining about Starlink systems dying en masse. Think about that operational speed. 4 days from train attack to nationwide Russian communications collapse. Traditional military procurement takes months or years implementing new systems. Musk controlled the technology. Ukraine identified the problem. SpaceX deployed the solution globally in under 1 week. Russia never anticipated this vulnerability. But here's what devastates Russian operations. They built their entire communications infrastructure around captured/smuggled Starlink terminals with zero backup plan. According to Russian mill blogger Colonel Kasad, there are no alternatives to Starlink right now, at least not at the level of today. The dependency stems from tactical necessity. According to reporting, Russian forces use gray Starlinks to organize frontline communication because, immune to electronic warfare, Ukrainian jamming disrupts Russian radio communications, GPS navigation, standard drone control. Starlink's satellite-based system bypasses terrestrial jamming. Beyond line-of-sight control, Russian operators inside Russia can control drones striking hundreds of kilometers into Ukraine using Starlink connectivity. Cable and radio-controlled drones have 10 to 15 kilometers maximum range. High bandwidth. According to analysis, Starlink provides relatively secure communications basically anywhere, with bandwidth supporting real-time video feeds, multi-drone coordination, complex tactical operations radio cannot handle. Real-time precision. Starlink-equipped drones better avoid electronic jamming and hit targets more accurately, according to Ukrainian officials. Operators see live video, make micro-adjustments, ensure precision strikes impossible with pre-programmed drones. Russian forces became dependent on this capability. According to 2 Majors Mill blogger, in the absence of alternatives, the Russian armed forces use gray Starlinks to organize communication on the front. When those terminals died simultaneously February 5th to 6th, Russian units lost communication, coordination, drone control, everything modern combined arms warfare requires. The desperation shows in proposed alternatives. According to 2 Majors, the danger is that this was an easy way compared to creating something of their own in space, dragging out eternally, tearing fiber optic cables, setting up Wi-Fi bridges, or even working massively with digital stations to organize the transmission of small data packets. Now either do it the old-fashioned way or urgently come up with something of their own. Translation: Russia has no short-term solution. Launching competing satellite constellation takes years. Fiber optic cables are vulnerable to Ukrainian strikes. Wi-Fi bridges have limited range. Digital radios lack bandwidth. Russian forces must revert to communication systems Ukraine can jam, eliminating tactical advantages they've exploited for months. What forced Ukraine's desperation? Russia wasn't just using Starlink for communications, they weaponized it for strategic strikes. According to Ukrainian officials, they documented hundreds of attacks by Starlink-equipped Russian drones. The capability transformation was devastating. Shahed long-range strike drones. Starlink-equipped Shaheds appeared in September 2024. These Iranian-designed drones normally use GPS navigation vulnerable to jamming. With Starlink, operators control them in real time throughout entire flight profiles, adjusting courses to avoid air defenses, selecting targets of opportunity, ensuring precision impacts. Molniya 2 strike drones. Russian company Rubicon equipped Molniya drones with Starlink beginning December 2025, according to intelligence assessments. These provide reconnaissance and strike capabilities Russian forces previously lacked. BM-35 drones. Additional Russian UAV systems receiving Starlink integration for beyond line-of-sight operations. The January 27th passenger train attack exemplified the threat. According to Beskresnov, the Starlink-equipped drone flew low altitude, avoiding radar detection, resisted Ukrainian electronic warfare jamming, struck with precision from operators safe inside Russian territory. Ukrainian air defenses couldn't jam it. Ukrainian EW couldn't disrupt it. The Starlink connection made it unstoppable. Fedorov's statement after Whitelist implementation revealed relief. Thanks to the first steps taken in recent days, no Ukrainians have been killed by Russian drones using Starlink, and that is priceless. The timeline matters. Implementation began around January 30th to February 1st. By February 2nd, Ukrainian officials confirmed 0 Starlink-enabled Russian drone kills. The immediate impact saved Ukrainian civilian lives within 48 hours of SpaceX action. But how did Russia acquire terminals SpaceX doesn't sell to Russia? According to multiple investigations, Russian companies used intermediaries in third countries. SpaceX stated in February 2024's social media post, it does not sell or ship Starlink to Russia and does not do business of any kind with the Russian government or its military. Yet Ukrainian forces collected physical evidence, captured Russian drones with mounted Starlink terminals, recovered equipment from battlefields, intercepted communications coordinating through satellite internet. The smuggling networks operated through third country purchases. Russian entities acquire terminals through Kazakhstan, UAE, Turkey, other nations where Starlink operates legally, then smuggle them into Russia. Volunteer crowdfunding. According to FDD analysis, Russian units often receive the bridges from volunteers who purchase them using crowd-funded money, civilian supporters buying technology in foreign countries, shipping to Russian military units. Captured Ukrainian terminals. Russian forces overrun Ukrainian positions, seize abandoned Starlink systems, repurpose them for Russian operations. Ukraine lost thousands of terminals in 2022 to 2023 retreat from Kherson, Kharkiv, counteroffensive chaos, Bakhmut fighting. The scale surprised analysts. Ukrainian communications officer estimated 80% of the Russian bridges observed near front lines used Ubiquity products, American Wi-Fi equipment, complementing Starlink connectivity, showing systematic dependence on Western technology Russia cannot domestically produce. SpaceX attempted blocking unauthorized use multiple times since 2022. Geofencing prevented terminals from working in Russian-occupied territories. Russia countered by registering terminals to Ukrainian coordinates, then physically moving them. The cat and mouse game continued until Ukraine provided SpaceX the whitelist of verified terminals, creating binary system where approved terminals work, everything else dies, no workarounds possible. But whitelist implementation wasn't flawless. According to Ukrainian combat officer Tetiana Chornoval posting on social media, the shutdown of Starlink left my 2 combat positions without communication. Her unit quickly brought in alternative communications, but the admission reveals Ukrainian forces also use non-registered terminals purchased privately or transferred between units without proper documentation. The verification process continues. According to Fedorov's February 5th statement, we continue to verify Starlink terminals. The first batch of terminals that made it onto the whitelist are already operational. Musk reiterated, important to register your Starlink terminal if in Ukraine. Ukrainian soldiers and civilians receive instructions registering privately acquired terminals, ensuring they survive whitelist restrictions. But Ukrainian forces adapted within hours. According to anonymous Ukrainian drone pilot in Telegram video, it works for us. We immediately registered our Starlink terminal and everything is fine. The registration process is simple, fast, and user-friendly, according to Fedorov. Ukrainian units register, SpaceX verifies, terminals reactivate within 24 to 48 hours. The asymmetry favors Ukraine overwhelmingly. Ukrainian forces have official channels requesting terminal additions to whitelist. Russian forces have zero legitimate pathway getting unauthorized terminals approved. Every Russian terminal cutoff stays offline permanently unless Russia somehow convinces SpaceX to approve Russian military terminals. Politically impossible. Initial battlefield effects show promise but limitations. According to Deputy Battalion Commander of 38th Marine Brigade deployed on Myrnograd front, speaking to Kyiv Independent, the assaults have not stopped but slowed down. Arsen Lemko-Dmytryk, Azov Corps Chief of Staff. For now, there is nothing noticeable. Russians are not stopping their assaults. The disconnect between Millblogger panic and frontline reality reveals Russian military adaptation culture. Communications catastrophe doesn't immediately halt operations. Russian forces revert to radio, runners, simplified tactics not requiring real-time coordination. According to Artem, officer in 28th Mechanized Brigade on Kostiantynivka direction, so far, I haven't seen any situations where Starlink prevented them from carrying out an assault. But tactical versus strategic impacts differ. Russian assault infantry can attack without Starlink. They did for decades using radios and runners. What Starlink enabled was precision. Real-time drone feeds showing Ukrainian positions, coordinated multi-axis attacks synchronized through high-bandwidth communications, strategic deep strikes controlled from Russia, bypassing Ukrainian air defenses. Losing Starlink doesn't stop assaults. It degrades coordination, reduces precision, eliminates deep strike capability. The drone operator callsign Architect, 32 years old, assessed, "This will only buy us a few weeks and make the rear a little safer." The honest appraisal, Russia will adapt. They'll bring fiber optic cables, set up Wi-Fi bridges, find alternative communications. But a few weeks of degraded Russian capability saves Ukrainian lives, disrupts Russian offensive planning, forces resource reallocation. All valuable, even if temporary. Musk's Starlink move caught Russia off guard because Moscow built critical military infrastructure around technology one man controls. February 2nd resolution creating whitelists, February 5th to 6th mass outages, Russian mill bloggers admitting catastrophe with no alternatives right now, all demonstrate strategic vulnerability Putin didn't anticipate. The implications extend beyond Ukraine. Every military using commercial technology controlled by private companies faces similar leverage points. Starlink revolutionized Ukraine's battlefield communications since February 2022. Over 50,000 terminals delivered, entire command networks dependent on satellite coverage. But that dependence creates bilateral vulnerability. Ukraine needs Musk's cooperation as much as Musk's restrictions devastate Russian operations. Russia gambled that capturing and smuggling terminals would provide technological advantage Western sanctions couldn't prevent. The whitelist destroyed that assumption instantly. No satellites Russia can launch, no alternatives providing equivalent capability, no workarounds SpaceX can't counter. Russian forces face choice: operate with degraded communications Ukraine can jam, or somehow convince the billionaire who called Polish foreign minister drooling imbecile to approve Russian military terminals. Putin didn't see this coming because authoritarian mindset assumes technology, once acquired, cannot be remotely disabled. Russian forces captured thousands of Western weapons, HIMARS, javelins, tanks, and repurpose or study them. But Starlink isn't hardware sitting in a warehouse. It's service Musk controls. And when Ukraine asked nicely, he flipped the switch. Should private companies control military communications infrastructure? Share thoughts. Subscribe for technology warfare analysis. Thanks for watching.